What is up, App Nation? It is Steve P. Young, founder of appmasters.com, the place you go when you want action-packed content related to growing your app downloads and, more importantly, those revenues. And today, I had to beg this guy to come on. I've known him for years. I actually heard his podcast, A Mobile Dev Memo, so shout out to you, Eric. But he had an amazing topic, amazing launch strategy, and I was like, Offer, please come on and share this with my audience. And he said yes. So you're in for a doozy. And we're going to talk about why potentially going viral is a bad thing. So without further ado, let's bring in my friend. Where is it? Where's my media assets? Where? Offer. Offer, welcome to the show, my friend.
How are you? It wasn't that hard. Don't make me look like the bad guy. I'm very happy to be here.
I know. Yeah, you were. I wanted to put a little drama. Thank you for doing this. Offer doesn't do much podcast, but he's like, all right, Steve, for you. He's got a wealth of knowledge, guys. Let me just break it down for you. So he's the CEO of Arya, a subscription platform helping couples around the world reignite passion and intimacy through creative products, curated products, videos, and expert guidance. But this is how I knew him. He led Fyber and Digital Turbine. He also started Inneractive and scaled it to an acquisition. So he's got a wealth of knowledge. And the coolest part, and the numbers we're going to talk about too, is he's been able to hit 87% usage retention through 12 months. So, Offer, how did I do, man? Welcome to the show, my friend.
You did great. So happy to be here. Thanks, Dave.
You're looking good too. I love the hair. I love the vibe. Just everything's good.
Even though since I moved to Miami about a month ago, the humidity in the air doesn't do well to my hair. So I'm trying to kind of work on that. But thank you. Yeah, it means a lot.
I love it. That's what my wife says all the time too. Okay. Well, let's get started, man. You got this presentation. And then look, guys, you're going to have to really pay attention to this go-to-market strategy that I love so much. So let's bring up the presentation and I'll let you lead here.
All right, thank you. So listen, as you said, I spent 15 years in ad tech, in advertising, starting with Inneractive and then Fyber and then Digital Turbine. And now I'm doing intimacy, how did this happen? But let me tell you something about myself on a personal side. I turned 44 very recently. I'm happily married. I have 4 kids.
Wow.
So, it's not getting any easier to have a family and have kids and keep that passion and spark that we had when we started dating a long time ago. So I was really kind of drawn to that part. And when I look at everything I learned in ad tech, look, there is an app for pretty much every part of our life, right? We spend money on a vacation. We post it on Instagram and we need to kind of keep in shape. So maybe we're on Strava or Ladder to kind of look good and feel good. And we find love online. We find our therapist online. When you have kids, you have those apps like Class Dojo, etc. Mm-hmm. But there is a gap. There is nowhere to go to stay in love. So we can stay fit, we can find love, we can stay calm. But how do we stay in love? And it's actually a very big problem. I'll give you some numbers that might surprise you. In the US alone, 1/3 of Americans live in a sexless relationship. It means doing it once a year or less. Let that sink in for a second. 1/3 of Americans. Okay, now even if you and I are not in that bucket, many people still are having a hard time talking about intimacy. It doesn't come natural for us. I mean, look, in the movies, you know how it is. The day is over and boom, spontaneously, we are all very sexy. Now, let me tell you something. When the kids go to bed and I have to clean the kitchen and organize the playroom, and my wife and I don't just miraculously feel sexy at that point, okay? The same way that my six-pack does not magically appear. I have to work on that. So we need to do it. And what I realize is that people go on Reddit, on Facebook, and post the most bizarre things. And I really don't recommend anybody build your relationship based on Reddit. They have nowhere to go. So we built this a couples companion that help couples normalize the conversation about intimacy and just live a better version of themselves. So we have this, we call it the concierge that you can text with. It's like your kind of best friend that knows you and your partner and can recommend what to do We have all this amazing content that we build, and also a product discovery platform on top. So we actually ship you everything you need, because nobody wants to go on Amazon and buy a blindfold or a massage oil. Let me take care of that for you. All right. So and people love it. And the way we built it is that first, after doing it for many years, we said let's start with the mobile web, not even an app. It's a web app. By the way, I think it's an amazing looking web app. We're really pushing it with kind of what you can do over web. And there is an onboarding process that we'll talk about it. Right now, we have about 15 to 20 questions before you even hit the paywall. Mm-hmm. And here I have to say, long is good. So actually, the more questions, the more positive friction we added, we saw numbers go up. And then you hit our paywall. Again, it's a membership, and it's a hard paywall. No free trials. I know this might kind of walking into a minefield here. No free trials, no freemium. You pay from day one, sight unseen. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I firmly believe that more and more consumer products and founders need to understand. You need to charge for your product from the get-go. And it's been working very well for us. It's a nationwide need. We have 20,000 members all over the US right now, all paying members, mainly, by the way, millennial moms. That's our demographic. And we are doing double-digit millions of ARR as we speak, growing very fast. So I'll stop here. That's gonna my Arya introduction. But what I really want to talk to you today is about paywalls, charging, and really about going viral or mastering paid acquisition. I think that's a topic that we should really be more discussed. Just like
yes.
We need to talk about it.
I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. So for like, why just a web app? Like, why not? Because a lot of people just default to building a mobile app.
So, I have an amazing co-founder, Tomer. And when we started Arya, I mean, look, it's a consumer product. It's an uncharted territory of intimacy. We didn't know if it's going to work. We believe in the problem we're solving, but will that work? So before we start building an app, we just took this no-code approach. Our MVP, the Arya MVP, was completely no-code. Onboarding was all on Typeform. The content was on Squarespace. We use Airtable as the backend. And Steve, we crossed 1 million of ARR on that MVP, on that no code, not a single line of code. Wow. Was the product good? Was it good looking? Absolutely not. But it demonstrates people are willing to pay. So I find more and more, especially young founders today, are keep telling me, it's not ready yet. It's not perfect yet. We have 2 more features we are working on. Like the app will be amazing. How do you even know? Why do you spend time building and perfecting an app before you tested the basic concept of your offering? Yes. So we did a mobile web version just because we wanted to demonstrate to ourselves that it can work. I will say, now that it's live, I have no urgency to go native app because look, why should I pay Apple their tax? Yes. Why should I give away 30%? Why should I lose attribution? I have amazing attribution on every step of the way, going, from an ad to the web app to the paywall. Why would you give away all that flexibility? Right. And with Apple Pay and Google Wallet integrated into browsers today, what's the advantage?
Right. I love it. And you said charge first, and why it's so important to charge first too. I'm going to bring back your slides a little bit and just the pain. I love your approach too, because I've always said, go get the refund. Like, then you're going to learn a lot more from your users than giving away so much for free. Like, aim for the refund. Aim for the first sale. And then if it works, great. Charge enough where you can get the refund because you're going to learn so much. So talk to me about this philosophy, charging first. You have to charge.
I love what you said so much because it's exactly the same. I think for like 1 month, at the very beginning, we offered a trial for like 1 month. Mm-hmm. And you know what happens when you offer a trial? What is the KPI you start optimizing for? A trial to paid conversion, right? I remember the day we had the numbers coming in. I'm looking at, I think we had like a 40% or whatever, 30% trial to paid. And I look at all the benchmarks. Is it good? Is it bad? And I sit and I think with Tomer, with my co-founder, how do we make this number from 30 to 40 to 50% to 60%? And we ask ourselves, why didn't they convert? Why didn't they like? And then I realized, what am I doing? I'm spending time and money on people who didn't even pay, didn't continue, and I'm spending my efforts on them and not on the people who actually paid and want my product. So we said, let's front load the churn. To your point, let's only allow in people who are willing to pay. And then if they ask for a refund, if they churn, let's fix what is hurting them, not the people who never crossed through the door. And it's a different mindset. It's a huge shift. Don't spend your time converting the people who don't want you. Spend time making the people who want you feel better. And you can do both at the same time. Not as a small startup, even as a large company, it's hard to do both.
Right. But you did exactly that, right? You were charging a lot. And you're like, hey.
And we charge a lot.
Yeah.
And we said, we're going to charge a lot, and I'm okay refunding you if you don't like the product, but I want you to pay. I want users to pay from the beginning. And every metric has improved once we killed, after 1 month, once we killed that free trial. Every metric has improved. And there is consumer psychology behind the scene. When you pay for a service, you're going to commit.
Yes.
You're going to commit. Now, maybe you don't like it, you will cancel, etc. But if you've paid $60 or whatever, you're going to make sure you're going to use that product. While if you have a free version, okay, another icon, another thing on your kind of to-do, maybe you'll come to it, maybe you don't. So it's also forcing your members to actually use your product and give you real feedback on it.
Yes.
And it's so, so important. I think feedback, I'll talk more about feedback later when we talk about virality and paid. You need to understand what's working, and you need to make sure you listen to the right audience. People who don't pay you, yeah, you can listen to them, but you know why? Listen to the ones who pay.
Exactly. People who pay attention.
Yes, who pay attention, exactly.
Hey, Clyde. Pedro was like, no trial has converted well for him. Never seen that claim. I actually seen a lot of apps, Pedro, do go on the no trial. We launched a couple of different apps with no trial. Sometimes it works a bit better than having the trial. So you're going to have to test that too. And then Kareem says, will this broadcast be recorded? Always recorded. It goes on to a podcast as well, the audio version, like literally right after this. So by Saturday, you can just listen to it if you're on a walk. And then Clyde has a great question. Is there another way to give a guarantee instead of a refund in the app space?
You know, I will say our refund rate is very, very low. I think people may cancel. They say, oh, you know what, I tried for a month, it didn't work. And that's like a very typical consumer behavior. Very few actually ask for a refund. Yes. You know, especially think about it. You go and talk to a therapist. You do 1 or 2 sessions and you don't find, it doesn't help. You stop going, you don't ask for your money back. So in the same way, I mean, when you have a service like Arya, which is a concierge for your intimate life, helps you talk to your partner, your wife, your husband, whatnot. Okay, if it's not for you, you may churn, but people don't really ask their money back, like they've tried it. So I'm not that concerned. Again, it's a very, very, very low percentage. And regarding the person who asked about, you know, dropping trial, will it work? There is a caveat, because if you are building in a very commoditized space and the competition is fierce, you have to show value early on. And that's maybe when you have to give some kind of a free version. I think if you build a premium product in a premium space, then dropping the trial and even pricing it high actually works in your advantage, because the consumer sees, you know, it's not cheap, but this must be like a very high-end product. I'm going to invest. Again, it's a perception thing. It's very important.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, look at all these iPhones that we buy.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, come on. It's like, what's more expensive, this iMac or this iPhone? It's literally almost the same price.
Almost the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Pedro says, do you focus more on LTV or churn?
I think it changed with the company's life. At the beginning, it's more about retention. So retention, churn, the other side of the equation. I think retention is key. If we can keep people long enough and engaged enough, LTV will go up by itself. If you kind of overly invest in LTV early on, it may kind of churn users away. So I would say it's a 1-2 punch. So start with retention, feel good about usage, and then with monetization, start improving monetization as well. But I wouldn't skip the retention part at the beginning.
I love it. Okay, let's get back into that paid stuff because I love this philosophy too.
So listen, let's I'm gonna burn myself here, but when we closed our Series A about a year ago, I very openly talked about our go to market strategy and investing in paid ads, because you build a brand, and I believe that in order to build a brand, you have to invest. And the number one question you're being asked is, why do you spend money on ads so early? Why do you feed Meta? Why do you make Meta shareholders happy? Go viral and work with influencers, and they give you all those examples of companies that apparently went viral very, very successfully. And here is my take. I think if you are an early stage founder and you went viral and it was successful, it's very, very bad for you. Because there is no way on earth you can convince me you know why it happened and how to reproduce it. You will be sitting there basking in so-called success, seeing your graph went up because someone posted it went very, very viral. But deep inside, you don't know how to do it again. You don't know how to do it again. You may think you know, but you don't. Yeah. While if you're going paid advertising and you're being systematic about it, and you craft your message, and you test your hook, and you understand your target demographic, and you understand how much it really costs you to acquire a paying member, a paying user, not just for impressions, then you build a flywheel. Then you can talk in confidence and say, I know exactly the cost. I know exactly how to scale it. I understand my margin of error, and you can build a business. I just don't see any way to do it based on virality that cannot be explained.
What about I'm going to play devil's advocate. What about people who say, look, if I do stuff on organic, wouldn't it work well on paid too? Like, isn't that a great way of trying to test it organically for free because I don't have enough money to test the paid marketing side of things?
I'm not sure, because in many cases when you go viral, it wasn't your message that caught up. It's you just landed on an influencer that had a very engaged audience, and they just happened to like what you do. And again, is it replicable? If you found a way to actually replicate it constantly, then yes. So you have a system. But in more cases than not, you can't. Yeah. You probably had 1 or 2 very successful campaigns, generated views. But if I give you now, if I'm an investor, I'm going to give you now $5 million. Can you scale faster? Can you in high confidence tell me that you have a system? You may have a system to acquire influencers, but do you have a system to convert to purchases? I think that's when the system breaks. That's when the formula breaks.
Yeah. I like it. Or for, I'm looking on this screen, and I don't want to expose the client, but I did talk to this client. They've done it phenomenally well, and they use TikTok to go viral and they need that, right? Like nobody's searching for it from an ASO perspective. I see one video that's been pinned as 42 million views. Okay. Amazing. One of the most recent, but in the sea of all these videos, I see some with 652. No hundreds of thousands, just 652 views. And then some are 300,000, but some are just under 1,000 views. So, there it is. It's like 40 million one video. And then,
you know what? Let's make it interesting. Can you put the slides back for a second?
Yeah, I will.
Let's like again. I'm gonna enter a line. I know. Yeah, this one. I mean,
you control it. You can control it too.
Yeah, this is a good slide. So listen, This is a tweet I actually saw yesterday. I have tons of respect for the brand and the person, so I removed like the name. But this is the head of marketing for that consumer product. Mm-hmm. Okay, and they say, look, you've seen us everywhere. In 3 months, We generated 300 million organic views. Here's the playbook. And I asked myself, like, this is an amazing, by the way, generating this amount of views in 3 months, it's amazing. But if my head of marketing would have come to me with this number, honestly, Steve, I would kick them out of the door. No, seriously.
Why? Tell me why.
If my head of marketing would have been proud of views and anything else than conversion and payback, conversions and payback. How many conversions? I mean, we can assume maybe it's a high number of conversions, but is it? I want to believe it. If it convert, we would have known from that first tweet. Tell me the bottom line. What do I do with views, organic or not? By the way, okay. So maybe it's 1 or 2 in your exit, the 42 million you just quoted. Maybe it's like 4 accounts that drove tens of millions of views because they have this massive audience. How many of this audience actually converted?
Yeah.
Are they our audience, Steve? Are those millions of views coming from our millennial moms in the Arya example, or maybe it's students? Like, how do you connect views to outcome?
Yep, I love it.
And again, now if this head of marketing will ask me for a budget, how can I give a budget? Against what? Is there a CAC payback here? Is there any ROAS attached to it? Is it a vanity metric? Are we just trying to kind of, if we are racing for vanity, it's great, but we are all in the business of creating healthy unit economics. And I don't get it. And that's where we talk about virality. And again, not to say that neither company will ever succeed. I want to see how it translates to bottom line results.
I like it. Pedro says 100%. Agree with you.
Thank you, Pedro.
Yeah. You know what? I have a community of founders I run to, and in that community, which your episode was brought up, and then I was, they're like, people talk about views are not getting downloads because you would talk about downloads if you actually.
Exactly. If your head of marketing would have been proud of the result, he would share the result, not the top line number.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
And we remember this from CS. Again, by the way, nothing about the people, nothing about the companies or the product. Everything is amazing. I'm just talking about their launch strategies. Okay, this is not personal, but this was like you remember this Rabbit AI product at CES last year?
I don't. What is this?
You see, I don't even remember. So that was launched last CES. It's called Rabbit R1. It's an AI native device. You talk to it, it does whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. Launched hundreds of millions of views, pre-orders, something crazy. I just checked before this the show. The company reported they have, since, after a year, 5,000 daily users after hundreds of millions of views and then hundreds of thousands of downloads or purchases. They report 5,000, so probably the number is like 3,500. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? I think chasing virality and that false notion that we sometimes get from the investor community that you have to go viral when we launch is kind of blinding us from success. Just like the trial and paid, you need to focus on results. You have to focus on people who are willing to pay. And here's one sentence I really want to say. When you spend money on pay ads, that's like the hardest truth you can see. It either works or not. You can game the system. With virality, you can game the system. You can convince an amazing influencer. Maybe they'll make an amazing video. It says nothing about your product. Nothing. It says about them that they have an audience. When you run ads and people click, land on your landing page, and they don't convert, don't download, don't purchase, it doesn't work. You have to change something. The hook, the message, the creator, the landing page, the flow, the product, something has to change. But you have this feedback loop. You have a feedback loop. I feel like when you go viral early on, you ignore the real feedback loop. Mm-hmm. It's all vanity.
I love it. Yeah, and you know what I wanted to say over it was, you said 5,000. Look, you have 20,000 already. Have
Yeah,
you
and
ever
again,
gone viral?
it's not here to compare, and every
Yeah,
company is
yeah,
different. But I'm just saying you have to focus on what you really care about.
yeah.
Um, I think 6 months ago or so, again, nothing about the company, nothing about the people. There was this AI companion necklace. Okay, you may remember it. I think it was called like Friend or
Mhm.
something. And huge launch, a viral launch on TikTok. I think they bought like the domain friend.com for like a ridiculous amount of money, lots of kind of virality on Twitter. And
Yeah, they do have it.
how do you build a real feedback loop? How can you talk about your unit economics? Will it get some investors excited early on? Yes. Is it important? Yes, by all means. But putting all of that aside, in my 40s, it's my third company. Eventually, you can't ignore the hard truth of can you scale your business? Can you find the mechanism that actually works? And I think going viral will blind you. I think going viral will give you the more noise than clarity. Again, if you can convince yourself and others that you know how to go viral repeatedly, okay, I'm game. But just a viral launch does not work.
Mm, I like it. Over. Again, not calling anybody up. I'm looking at the App Store right now too. Take a look at the App Store, and you guys will kind of see. If you are not convinced by now, here, let me add this to the stage. Here's just their App Store. 15 ratings, 3 stars.
And it's sad
Yeah.
because again, the product may be great, the people may be great. I think it's the launch strategy that gets you just defocused on what success really is.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. All right. We got some people here too. Alex says, good CMOs know if you can't measure it, you can't control it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think in that regard, paid ads are the most measured, platform. And you have to measure the right things. You can measure views, but views doesn't tell me much,
Yeah.
right? I need to measure actual conversions, paybacks. I think payback is even more important than CAC. Okay, your CAC may be high or low, but it doesn't say much. It all depends on your business model and pricing. If you can have healthy paybacks, you have a flywheel. You have a machine. You can invest more money. You can get into debt. It doesn't really matter because the money will come back. You
Mm.
can't make that decision based on views, based on CTR. Those are good indicators, but you can't make decisions based off them. That's what I'm trying to say.
How are you calculating payback? So obviously you're a web product, so your payback is Stripe's a lot faster than Apple is going to be, right? And so how are you measuring payback? So let's say you sell a yearly or you sell a monthly. Do you put a 3 month multiple on the monthly? What do you do, or do you just keep it with what you're coming in right now this month?
My definition of net payback, and again, there is payback and net payback. So let's get real. Let's talk
Yeah,
net payback.
please.
Your your net payback will be I need to recoup all of my media spend and all of my real COGS, a cost of goods associated with that. To a certain degree, but let's say if you also like you had creative cost, if it's a real product and you have like hard COGS of like actually shipping or labeling or whatnot, what direct cost did you have with this cohort? And then you look at how much revenue this cohort generated, and it accumulates, right? It compounds if it's a membership or if it's not a membership. At the end of the month, how much money came in versus how much money actually you had to spend in that cohort. That's your net payback. Now, if you are selling an annual membership and you don't see the payback immediately, you have to wait for their first renewal. Then listen, man. I mean, you're going to be in the unknown for at least 12 months until you realize your renewal rates. If you are on a weekly, monthly, or whatnot, you'll find very quickly your paybacks. And it's okay, by the way, to take a risk and make some assumptions. But in order to scale your media spend, like if you as the CEO, CMO, you want to place a bet and increase spend, you need to have some kind of a sophisticated way of thinking on your paybacks. Otherwise, you're burning cash. You're just burning cash. Again, vanity, just vanity.
What do you I talked to somebody else too, and I won't name her, but she's like, look, if you're 100% ROAS, you're not scaling fast enough. She's like, you need to be under. What is your philosophy on that?
It's not a bad point.
Tell
It's
me
not,
why.
I can see it. But to a certain degree, and here's why. Once we give ourselves some slack and some buffer, it can become like a bad habit. So you say, 85% is fine.
Right.
And then maybe you have like a bad quarter. So, actually 67% is also okay because and then you end at 50. So I think again, if you are um, educated about it and you're systematic about it and you have confidence in the numbers, I get it. It's fine. You can go below one. I look at, by the way, I have a leading indicator we use called M0 ROAS. So when we finish M0, because we haven't recouped everything at the same month, but what is my M0 ROAS? It shows you the trajectory of the cohort. Is it like a sad cohort or a happy cohort?
Mm,
Okay. If we have more multi-month, like higher paying members in that cohort, the M0 will be higher. If we have more kind of low paying cohort because whatever campaign bought, like, maybe low intent audience, the M0 will be lower. So, and it's okay to have those indicators, but at the end of the day, I measure myself and the team based on net paybacks. And now, running for over a year, we have a good understanding of a healthy payback range. So again, to this person point, it's okay if I don't end up exactly the 100%, but eventually I want to recoup my entire payback and start making a profit on top of it.
yeah, I like it. Talk to me about your early Facebook ads campaigns. Like, I would love all the details over
Oh my
if
gosh.
you're willing to share.
We had this winning ad, Steve, that was so embarrassing that every time I met anyone, not even just put aside investors, like, we met kind of colleagues, founders, and they're like, oh, show me your top winning ad. And we had
Yeah.
like a clear winner, not by a percentage, like a clear winner, when you see one,
Yeah.
it was so embarrassing. So embarrassing.
I just want to see it. You
No, you
you
don't.
do a good job of just teasing me over.
I will not show it here. But I will say this. I don't have a good answer because like now you keep asking like you come across another embarrassing creative and you say, okay, it has the potential of work, but is there a negative brand impact at some point? Like how it's not just ugly ads work. Sometimes you ask yourself, where do I cross the line? That where do I want my brand to be? Okay. So our early Facebook days, we spend $300 a day, like very low number, $300 a day. That's it. I think people say we don't have money to run ads. You need 5,000 in a month. That's what you need. Okay. You will quickly understand what works. And we used to kind of acquire 2, maybe 3 members a day, maybe. But after a week, after 2 weeks, you start to understand what works, what doesn't work. You see what the comments on the ads teach you a lot, what people are commenting on the ad. Are you touching a nerve? When you have a topic like intimacy as an example, people talk. It's like you're touching. It's a sensitive topic for some people.
Yeah.
Only when we felt that our CAC at the time, it was too early for paybacks, but our CAC was felt reasonable, we started scaling slowly. Today we are spending call it like $500,000 a month, but we didn't do it overnight. We didn't scale overnight, and even now we are very meticulous about it. We can spend more, but we will only do it if we feel comfortable in our paybacks.
Mm. I'm looking at your ad library now. Offer. Don't worry, I'm not going to share any of this. You just have me. I'm too curious.
You're stuck with the ad.
I am. Yeah, I am. That's all I'm thinking.
By the way, we eventually turned it off. We did
Okay.
turn it off eventually. But look, ads are a hit or miss, just like influencers. Like you really
Yes.
don't know what would work. And again, just like people say, oh, I know how to scale influencers. No, you don't. Don't really know how to predict which creative will work. I meet amazing creative strategies, whatever agencies or freelancers, I'm very happy they talk with confidence, but they really can't tell. Like there isn't a single proof formula for a winning creative. You have to find your hook, your angle, the creators, and a lot of luck, to be honest, a lot of luck. You don't have to spend a lot of money to just test and iterate all those things.
Yeah. People are curious too. But James was like, what did it say? The but I love what you said too. And I think that I'm gonna give you credit for all of this. Okay. You're like, look, if you're gonna spend that much time figuring out the hook, all that stuff, which you could do on organic, why don't you just do it on paid? Because most of your time better spent on that. You find one winning one, you can scale that for months on end versus trying to repeat it and it might not work again. But this one, this winning ad, you can scale that. That video is done. It's one hit, done. Right? Like you can't repeat that. It's harder to repeat. So I love that. You're spending, it's just like, where do you want to spend the time?
Yes. Look, when you go organic, there are two things out of your control. A, the algorithm of the platform. If it's a TikTok or an Instagram, it's the algorithm.
Yeah.
And secondly, it's the influencers or creators you work with and their audience. You may know them, but you don't really. When you go paid, there is still algorithm, but paid is different. Eventually, paid, the algorithm wants you to be successful. The algorithm wants you to spend more money. So it's a more controlled environment to test your messages. I want to say it's more clean than relying on organic algorithms and audiences of other people, other influencers, followers.
Yeah, I like it. Talk to me. I would love to know, forget the ad strategy. Okay, you found a winning ad. Everybody knows how to do that. Everybody knows how to check out the meta ads library. What were you optimizing for in the early days?
Early days, optimizing for a reasonable CAC, and that's something you define for yourself in the early days because you don't really know. So you have to make some assumptions at the beginning. You say, okay, you know what? Looking at the product and looking at the behavior of people, let's say they will stay with me, I'm making this up, 6 months. Okay, so if my CAC is now whatever, $50, I need to be able to recoup it under 6 months. And again, early days, it's okay if not, but I want to see trajectory. I want to feel confident that I can actually hit it at scale. So having a reasonable CAC. Second, again, emotional connection. So again, if you have an ugly ad or an embarrassing ad, but the comments are positive and people are like, oh my God, and they are tagging each other. Now you reminded me, early days, that embarrassing ad, so many people tagged their friends or partners or spouses or whatnot. And we were like, people are actually tagging their partners on Facebook where everybody can see on an Arya ad. That was a wow moment for us.
Yeah.
Because you would think intimacy is not something you can speak in town square in front of everybody. If you tag your wife on an Arya ad, what does it mean? It means that you are a great partner who prioritizes your love life. Great. I just didn't think it will happen that fast on Facebook or Instagram. Mm. So you're looking for that emotional connection, looking for those kind of comments on the ads. And then you see if you can actually scale. So can you go from $300 a day to $500 a day and your CAC stays the same and your spend level stays the same and the engagement stays the same? And then after 2 weeks, and you go even more. And when do you break? When does the creative start to break and you need more? So those are the things you do in the early days. And you can only do it, again, in my perspective at least, with a hard paywall. Because once you had a free, like a 30 days or whatnot, a 7-day trial, it just, again, pushes your payback, pushes the moment you actually have clarity on whatever the ad worked, and just add. You basically purchased the wrong audience. You just acquired your freeloaders. You acquired 60 or 70% that are not converting, but you paid Meta for them.
Yeah.
And it's sad. Why would you do that?
Yeah. I like it. Can we talk about your onboarding a little bit too?
Yeah, let's do it.
Can I share it? So I love that you said you use Typeform. You know, I started thinking through a Tally, which is a little bit more affordable. And we have one. I won't share our funnels too, but we have some funnels set up too within Tally, and we're kind of testing that out right here. And it's so easy to build stuff like this through Tally. But how has this changed from the beginning to now? What have you learned from just the onboarding process?
Yeah. So at some point we did move away from Typeform to this native onboarding you would see now. But for the longest time we ran on Typeform, and it was great actually. It allowed us to find a lot of insights and finding now, like how many questions should we ask? Like I came in worried that if we ask too many questions, people will churn. Well, in fact, the more we ask, the more they understand your product, the more relevant the questions are, the more curious they get. So actually, we started adding and adding and adding more and more questions. So from like 3 or 4, we now have like more than 10, and
Going through it.
and we keep playing with it all the time. So it's almost like a positive friction. In other words, if you can tell me why you came to Arya, you will not pay $45 a month subscription. Okay, if you can't answer that question of what is your goal with Arya, I'll drop now, like churn now, because you will churn at the paywall, basically. So it increases your conversion rate on the paywall because you are getting much, high intent, more qualified users at the end with those questions. And look, it's not for everybody.
Yep.
And some people still kind of might see great results going straight to a trial or straight to a paywall. But it also teaches us a lot. And now we can start building again paid ads and campaigns that have different messages because I can see through the onboarding what people are looking for.
How did you know what to ask, Ofer? I mean, you got some very spicy questions, okay? So for people playing along and watching me answer these questions, please don't. I'm just trying to go through this. But how did you know what to ask?
So I don't. I'm just a husband. But we have an amazing science team of intimacy coaches and couple therapists and sexologists. Really the best there are. And they built all the science behind Arya. And basically, if you go to a intimacy coach today or even a couple therapist, they have their onboarding. So we just extracted what we really need. And at first, I thought that we are all snowflakes. Like, I'm myself and Steve, you're Steve, and my wife, and like we all are very, very different. And what I can tell you today, we have a lot of data. People fall into like 4 or 5 buckets. Like there is what we call our erotic personas, like our personalities, and they are not that different. They are usually different between the partners, like my wife and I will have a different persona. But if you look at the demographic, people are not that different. So we learned that with the onboarding. We take you to the paywall. By the way, we do ask for an email and a phone number.
I know, just gonna point that out.
Before the paywall.
Right
And
here.
again, we've tested it. And yeah, people drop here 100%. But it still increases conversion rate at the end.
Interesting.
A to Z. So that type of positive friction in the onboarding for us works very, very well. Again, remember, Arya is not a cheap product. It's a premium product. I'm asking you to invest before you even pay. In other words, if you can't do that, you will not stay with me for 6 months, 9 months down the road. Okay, so I want to see that level of commitment before we even start. That's the rationale behind the scenes.
Yeah, I love this onboarding. Look at this. This is cool.
So here we're trying to, so this is like a couple of clicks just before the paywall, just giving you a bit more color really before you pay.
Yes.
Some of the products that will be recommended, your concierge, the content. And then if you click continue at the bottom, that's where we bring up the paywall. And we're doing lots of experiments with the paywall.
Amazing. You think I can press it? What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we bring up, by the way, over 90% of our traffic is mobile. So everything looks kind of more smooth on a mobile device than desktop.
Yep.
But here people can choose their membership. So we have monthly, 6 month, and annual. We're doing different kind of A/B experiments on that.
Should be included. I like it. I love this. I love this paywall.
And once you choose your membership, the next page will ask for your kind of credit card details or Apple Pay, and it works.
Nice.
So I'm not sure if you're about, you have link.
There it is. That's awesome. You can see more. Same credit card.
Yeah.
Amazing, bro.
And
That's funny.
interestingly, by the way, I can share here, it's a safe space. More than half of members who come in monthly will purchase a multi-month plan, not the monthly plan. So if you saw the yeah,
You
it's
started with monthly and then you upgraded. Is that what you're trying to say?
no, people can have it, but people purchase the 6 month plan, the $200
Yep.
out the gate. Think about $200 just like that with your credit card immediately.
Yeah.
And now let's roll back everything we talked in the last 45 minutes. If you have a machine where you understand the messaging and how to acquire people who spend $200 right away, that would beat any virality, free trials, freemium. Cash is king.
Yes,
Cash
sir.
flow is king. It means you can spend more and build faster and win the competition because you have your unit economics in place.
I
And it's
love it.
not easy, but I think that's what you should strive to.
People are impressed, my friend.
I like Pedro. Yeah.
Pedro also said, but couples pay more, right? Because they have more money than single, like two incomes versus one.
I will say, so good point on, again, psychology. Consumer already spend billions on how we sleep. Think about all those kind of smart mattresses and sleeping app and sleeping rings. People spend billions on mental wellness, better health, headway, etc., etc. People spend billions on nutrition. Look at Noom, look at Ozempic. So people spend billions on how they feel. Intimacy is no different. Just they had nowhere to go
Mm.
before Arya. Like, where would you go to spend if you want to have a better life with your partner? So now, once we can offer it, yeah, they spend.
How
It's
did you know
definitely
these numbers, Ofer? Like, was this a problem that you just wanted to tackle yourself, and then you started looking at, hey, are other people struggling with this? Like,
so. You know what? I'll tell you what. When we sold Fyber, that was 2021. It was a big exit, and after the acquisition, I became the CMO for Digital Turbine,
right?
huge Nasdaq listed company. And it wasn't for me. I'm a founder. I like to build, and being a CMO is fun, but I wanted to build. So I asked the CEO to kind of move on, which I did, but I didn't plan to share it. But I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't have a notepad of ideas. Now I'll build Intimacy app. No, I was bored. So my wife and I took a very quick vacation, kids-free vacation. I have 4 kids, so I bought my parents. They looked after the kids, and Liron and I, my wife, spent 3 days just us by the beach. Amazing, Steve. I'm not sure. I don't remember if you have kids or not, but
I have two.
you have to, right? So spending a couple of days with my wife, just us, it
Yeah,
was
the
great.
best.
We were active. Everything was amazing. Last evening of this vacation, we are doing some shots, arak. And at one point, my wife looked me in the eyes and says, "Babe, what happened to us?
Mm,
Why do we have to travel and bring your parents and do all of that, show just to remember how good we feel together? Because in the day to day, just routine takes over, routine, again, dinner, showers, put them to bed. It's hard."
yeah.
And that conversation really kind of stuck with me. And later on, we came back home. I met with my friends, and kind of I shared that story with my friends, and they all kind of said, "That's our life too. That's pretty much life. That's life."
Yeah.
And then it hit me. Well, maybe that's my TAM. Like, if it happens to everybody, it's a real problem. And that really started this journey for Arya. And then I met more and more therapists. I kind of teamed up with my co-founder Tomer. We interviewed sexologists, we interviewed couples, and we realized that's a really big problem.
Mhm.
And that's how everything really started. And I learned about the market. You look at all the statistics of divorce, infidelity, sexless relationship. It's very bad, man. Like, people, Gen Z,
Oh,
they
dude.
don't know how to create physical intimacy.
Yeah.
Like, they don't. And sex ad doesn't solve. You can buy a book on Amazon, doesn't really work. You can buy some card games, but there is nothing in the same level of all the apps and digital services we're used to deal with this.
Amazing. I love it. 33%. That's insane, man.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Arya.fi. Okay, if you fall in that 33%,
No,
I will
no,
take
even if you don't, if you just want to
FYI.
be like a happier couple, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, but Arya.fyi is the website. Congratulations, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I mean, we got a lot more, but I just love the story, and I know the audience is resonating with it too. And thank you for being so open with just some of the tactics. And obviously, that's why I wanted to bring you on, because I knew you were going to deliver. And I was like, this is going to be one of the best. I can feel it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I really want people to be successful, and don't be afraid to go to break from what you see on Twitter and do your thing.
Yeah, I love it, dude. What made you put in the like the goodie stuff, like the physical products? Just curious.
We have so much A/B testing going on. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it doesn't.
Hmm.
There is something with the mental load where people think, oh, now they will tell me that I have to get a blindfold, and like, oh my god, another thing on my list. So I'm trying to say, no, it's on us. Don't worry about it. Like, we'll take care of it. It's a repeated message from all of our customers. You know, they want someone to take care of everything.
Yeah.
Like, if I tell you now, you're gonna have a lot of fun with a low temp drip candle. It's gonna be the last thing you're gonna go and buy, like a drip candle right now, Steve, with everything that's going on with your life. You will not buy a drip. I'm gonna ship you the drip candle. Okay.
I love that candle.
Yeah,
I,
it's
I
a fun
loved it.
candle.
Yeah. I love it, man. Anything I want to miss that I missed that you want to make sure we cover?
No, I think it was great. I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, plan your launch. Don't be afraid to go early on ads. It doesn't mean you have to spend a lot of money. Be true to the numbers you track and measure. Don't go after vanity. Go after the bottom line. And if that works, you'll build a very big business.
I love it. Well, congratulations, my friend. And the last time we did an interview was 2019.
Oh my
You're
God.
still in it. I know. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my God.
We're like
Oh
a
my
year apart. I'm 45. And so it's awesome.
By the way, I mentioned I have 4 kids. Do you
Yeah.
know why I stopped watching scary movies?
Oh, dude, I stopped watching it too. Okay, tell me why.
Because once you have 4 kids, there is nothing more scary than a wife who says, "Let's go for number 5." That's it. That was my dad joke.
That was your dad joke. All right.
That was a plug for the dad joke.
I love it. Hey, you hit it early, but all right. Well, for teased it up, let's get into the app audit side, and we start off every app audit with some dad jokes. People are loving it. I'm sure I have 3. LOL. 4. 4 is scary, bro. Like 2 is a handful, in my opinion, but then 4 is a lot.
Thoughts a lot.
Uh,
Yeah.
all right, Ofer. I will give you my dad joke. You have another one, or is that it?
You go first. I might have a backup one as well.
Okay, all right. My wife told me not to do this one. She's like, "What do you got for tomorrow?" I'm like, "All right." Ofer, what do you call a moose with no name?
Hit me.
Anonymous. There you go.
Not bad. Not bad.
Okay. Thank you. What do you got? You got a backup one, or are you gonna stick with the scary movie one?
So, no, it's really bad.
Okay, stick with there.
Let me end with a high note.
All right. I love it, my friend. All right, let's get into some app audits. And then if you want us to take a look at your app in a future live stream, just go to appmasters.com/audit, appmasters.com/audit. A lot has changed since 2019. Last time we did an interview, now we do video. Like, we have an audience that's live. So
That's awesome.
people are loving it. Okay, we've got Satya's app right here, Ofer, and he wants help with just purely growth. So it looks like JavaScript. You can learn JavaScript through his app. Let me pull it up back like this. Anything on the storefront that you want to highlight?
I like the bright yellow color. I see it more and more often, and I think it works well. It definitely pops up. One thing maybe it's my age. I like when things pop up. I think the copy here in the screens is a bit too small. I might maybe 1 or 2 kind of zoom in and kind of make it more noticeable, because people are lazy and they scroll really fast. So don't make me work hard on really reading it.
I love it. Yeah, I agree with that too. I would just make it big and bold. What we've also found is having humans, right? You have humans everywhere. Having humans actually drive engagement and more click-throughs. So I have some human element to this on a couple of different screenshots. We've been adding more human faces to our screenshots lately. We've been seeing pretty good results with that.
And I don't have the data, but if you look on the right, the iPhone image is kind of dated.
Oh, this one?
With the fingerprint. I guess it's been a while since they released those, and I wonder what, when people see it, if kind of unconsciously they feel like maybe it's old.
Yeah, agreed. And I
again,
think
just a gut feeling. Maybe it doesn't really matter, but
No, and I want to see something real quick. So I like using AppFollow for ASO, and I'm going to go through this and kind of figure out if there is keyword volume for even JavaScript. So I'm going to start off with JavaScript. But for these type of apps that are very niche like this, JavaScript tutorial, let me just click this. Click the little eye icon for those who are just watched or listening. So 38 search traffic, not too bad. I'm going to do JavaScript, and then there's probably just JS. Play JS. Let's see if JS is a thing. 23. So there's not that much traffic, but with these type of niche apps, like think about Apple search ads and running Apple search ads basic, like Ofer said, figure out that paid model. We have a couple of different niche apps, and we've been able to drive a dollar cost per install, get those revenues into the door too. You're going to have to pay attention to some of the negatives, but like JavaScript, learn JavaScript doesn't seem as competitive given that people, this only has 413 ratings. Like you could probably start ranking for these keywords too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. You want to take a look at the app, and then we'll give them some advice on some monetization onboarding?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Oh, we need you guys to vote. So I know there's a bunch of people here. So put O for Ofer's scary movie joke, and then put S for my joke. I'm gonna give you the win. I think you're gonna get the win, but just put it, and we're gonna give you a free promo on us. We have a site called Indie App Santa, and we're gonna give you a free promo just for voting. Well, we're gonna pick a winner.
I
And I
just
think
asked the
Alicio
audience.
just voted.
My,
So
my,
go.
my wife said that if I'm going to win, we have to do number 5. So please vote for Steve.
No, put a lot of O's. How old is your youngest?
It's actually twins. They are 7. We jumped
Oh,
from 2 to 4 overnight with the
okay.
twins. Yeah, they're 7 years old.
That's crazy. And how old's your oldest?
She's 19, just started college actually in New Miami.
Crazy, bro. All right, we
Yes,
got
we have
similar
19,
age.
11, and the twins are 7.
I got 17 and 12. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where's the paywall on this? Woo, this is quite a mess here, my friend.
So this is like a feed of tips, right?
Yeah, looks like it.
And looks like we have some banners kind of slotted like in
Yep.
feed ads.
Yeah.
So
Like with
maybe
the
I
niche
can
app.
remove the ads, or
I don't know. It seems like a mess, in my opinion. I would say put some onboarding in place, figure out. I mean, this is just a basic app. And so onboarding in place. I mean, every programming language I've ever learned always starts with the hello world prompt. And so I'm so used to seeing that I'm like, this is a mess. Like, I don't even know where to start.
maybe even a search, Steve. I mean, there's definitely a lot of content here, so perhaps some kind of navigation or a search will help me to kind of jump in.
Organize it for me, man. Like, tell me.
Mhm.
And why you have 88 number 1 instead of 0? Like, if I'm trying to learn it, I'm just figuring out how to do it. Should I start with 0 first versus
Yeah, maybe
88?
it's a sorting issue.
Yeah. Now look at all these votes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. No, thank you.
Number 5's coming, bro. All right. H, are you still working on the votes? We'll go to the next app audit real quick. Okay. You let me know when you're ready. You ready? Okay. He said he's ready. All right. Let's pick a winner. Okay, H, come on to the stage. He's hard at work. See, you guys make him work. Where is he?
It's like you're counting the tallies, right?
See, he has to put all these names into this board. Sorry, H. Go ahead. You do it. All right. There you go.
Okay.
Sorry, Stevie. You're too late. Some of these guys are too late.
Oh,
Hey, look at this guy's cheating. Look, he voted for both you and me. All right. I see a lot of O's. So what was the score? Did you figure out the score?
Score is 10 on 5. And
10 on 5? Okay, a lot closer than I think. Ofer took the win?
Yeah.
Okay,
Obviously.
congratulations. So I owe you a drink. Whatever, drinks on me.
All right.
Coffee.
I'll come to collect.
Good. We'll see each other. We'll see each other next week then. All right, H, give it a spin.
Let's spin the wheel. And the winner is
Crypto Crunch?
no.
Oh, just to the cheetah.
We did. Yeah.
Okay,
It's a new
voted for
winner.
both. right, just email me, steve@appmasters.com, and then I'll hook you up with a free indie app Santa. And thank you to our sponsors, Web to Wave. Look, Ofer used Typeform to build out his initial web onboarding flow. But if you're looking to build a web to app flow and you want a more sophisticated solution, then go check out web2wave.com and then Arcads for your AI UGC needs as well. And that's because of our sponsors, we're able to give these Indie App Santa promos away for free. Indie App Santa, if you're not familiar, like AppSumo, Groupon, but for apps. So pretty simple for you to set up. All right, Ofer, how are you on time? You good? I know we're a little bit over.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Okay, so we got one last app that's kind of hard to figure out, but this app needs help on growth. It looks like it's a hair care app. I think it's limited to a specific country. Unfortunately, I don't know what this country is. I tried to look it up last night, but anything you want to provide for this app, Ofer?
To your point, I guess it's for a specific case. Maybe we are missing some context. So I want to believe that if I'm in the target audience, I would know what to expect and what to get out of it.
Indonesia. Okay, so it's Indonesia. Okay. It looks like, it feels like what's the one that's in the US? Oh.
When they come to your house for like a massage?
Or like Mind Body, like you just can book certain things too.
Mind Body, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's what this app is, but that's what it feels like. I mean, honestly, with Google, I would just run Google ads. And if you're in Indonesia, you can get a lot of cheap installs. And so you can target specific regions, specific cities, specific parts of Indonesia and just run ads. But Android downloads are so cheap that I would just, like Ofer said, figure out your paid model, start, and you can scale it too.
I think again, it says that this ad contains ad. I think this type of services, they should be premium. Again, I don't know enough of this local market, so I'll be very careful with my suggestions here. But I would say if I'm getting some kind of a hair care or reflexology, I mean, I need to pay for it. And when I see ads, again, at least here in the US, I get a feeling of maybe it's a cheaper kind of version, and then so why would I? So make it more premium if that's relevant for your market.
Yeah, completely agree. And it looks like it is more of like a Mind Body. You can book massages, you can book hair appointments, all that stuff, choose different locations. So yeah, I would just be running a bunch of different ads.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. Make it easy because why not? All right. Ofer, thank you so much. The website is Arya, ARYA.FYI. Please, I beg you, don't be a part of this 33%. And if you are, there's ways out. So Arya.FYI is.
And not only, even if you have great love life and you want to make it even better.
That's true.
We have something for you.
I love the goodies. Like, that's why I asked you. I was like, I love it because it adds a certain, a little bit more. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, it almost feels like a bonus to me when I was going through the
it's like reading about how to lift without actually lifting, so when you have the goodies, you can actually try new things. Just read about them online and just imagine how it would be.
Yeah, amazing. Ofer, if the audience wants to connect with you in any other way and say thank you for coming on, where do you want to send them?
Offer@arya.fyi. Feel free to kind of email me. I'm on LinkedIn, Offer Yehudai at Arya. So let me know.
That's awesome. Well, all that is linked up in your favorite podcast app and your YouTube description as well. Ofer, bro,
it's fun.
6 years later. This is so much fun.
Let's not wait another 6 years to do it again.
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying yes. And I will beg you to come on next year as well.
All right. Thanks,
all right. All right, guys. Join us every Friday. If you're just watching the video and you want to listen to it, well, the podcast, the audio version of the podcast goes live on Saturday morning. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Ofer. Congratulations on your success, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I'll see you next time.